Welcome to another episode of the Brown Couch Bruhz, your go-to Detroit sports podcast.
That's right. I'm your boy Jess, a.k.a. A-Game. We're here to bring the latest and the greatest from the D, the 313.
And it's your boy, The Loaf, ready to dive right into the heart of Detroit sports with two of my guys, the Honcho and the A-Game.
Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, PSL Sports, Michigan State, we got you covered.
We'll break down the games, analyze the stats, and give you the hot takes that you didn't know you needed.
Plus, we bring you some amazing guests, legends of the game, Detroit historians, here to share their insights and stories.
So grab a seat on the couch, kick back, and let's get into the action.
Here we go.
Welcome to another episode of the Brown Couch Bruhz.
Brown Couch Bruhz. I mean, man, I've been wanting to say this stuff for the longest, man. I know I can't say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Motown motivated, man. It just, it just feels right. It just felt right, man. It just, Brown Couch, welcome to another episode of Brown Couch Bruhz. Motown motivated. But hey, we here on Jefferson, man. So
we here.
I'm glad we here. Yeah.
Brown Couch Bruhz, man. Top of the evening to ya. St. Patrick's Day, you know. My best Irish accent I could give. It was the best I could get.
I thought it was Dickie V.
Oh man!
Well, let's toast it up in customary fashion.
There we go.
I always got to get a good toast in, man.
Little lucky Irish here on St. Patty's Day
You
today.
got your green on today. I noticed that.
I had to do it.
Yeah, it was hard to try to find some green today. Throw some pants on and some shoes. You got the hurricane gear on.
Yeah, man. You know, that's the only touch of green I had, man. You know, shout out to Michigan State, but I just don't have any gear. I just don't have any gear, man.
Well, you should say what I always say. Hey, man, I only wear universities that recruited me.
There you go.
There you
go. Didn't recruit me.
So you don't rap.
But I got a story about it's fitting for this episode. I got a story about my first day at St. Francis. Well, it's fitting for the day. We'll get to that. But let's tip it off. Jess, what you got for your tip off?
Well, look, man, I'm going to keep it in the city, man. Shout out to Jalen Rose. Man, you've been all over the socials that I've been watching. I follow you. What you doing at Jalen Rose Academy and in the community, brother. Man, it doesn't get talked about enough. And I made that comment on one of your socials. What you doing. And you're not doing it for the limelight. You're not putting it out there for everybody. You know, you just doing what you do, man. And shout out to you representing the 313. You had the 313 day. What you doing with the kids and what you doing in the community, bruh, is big. Love to have you on the show to talk more about what you're doing at Jalen Rose Academy and everything you're doing. Because outlets like this will put it out there. So appreciate what you're doing, man, from the bottom of my heart. It doesn't affect me so much because my kids are graduated. I'm eating good. But what you're doing in the community, man, shouts out to you, Jalen Rose.
Nice.
You know what? I want to kind of piggyback off of what you said about Jay Rose, man. Me being a Southwest Detroit alum, as far as being raised in Southwest Detroit, not going to Southwestern. But, Jalen Rose has always been big in the community out there. He's from Southwest Detroit, played at Southwestern. Always comes back to the annual picnic. Him and some other Southwestern guys, Anderson Hunt, Antoine Jobert. Yeah. But I also want to give him a shout out because a couple of years ago, he hired my son, Damon II. When he came home from playing ball, he needed a job. And of course, the Jalen Rose Academy brought him in. He was substitute teaching up there, man. So he's keeping a couple of dollars in his pocket while Damon was home. So shout out to Jay Rose on that, giving back to the community, like you said, Jess. And he's just regular 313 guy, man.
Yeah,
he's
no
regular
doubt.
down to earth 313 guy, homegrown, and he ain't never changed. Always been A1 from day one.
There you go.
Yeah, and he's always been that way.
Always.
Always repping Detroit, always repping where he's from. And always giving back, man. I mean, this guy is really, when you think about ambassadors of our city, when you think about ambassadors of the PSL, the first name that comes to mind for me is Jalen Rose. And obviously he's had a large platform being on ESPN and had a short stint with TNT, did some stuff with Fox. Had his own podcast on ESPN, but he's always taking care of home. Never forgot about where he came from.
Oh, absolutely.
And that means a lot. That means a lot to all of us. is one of the reasons why we started this show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And another reason why we started this show, my tip-off. Congratulations to the Red Flash of St. Francis University. My alma mater, the school that I played at, the school that I got my 1,000 points from. Shout out to y'all, man, for making the NCAA tournament, winning the Northeast Conference Championship for the first time since 1991.
Wow.
Mike Izzolino, Joe Anderson, the guys that were on that team in 91, man. I can remember coming to school and seeing that banner up there, that NCAA tournament banner, winning the Northeast Conference, and knowing that for small schools like us, that's really the only way you can get to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you got to win your conference.
You got to win your conference to get in. Yep, Nobody's coming to Loretto to see us and invite us to the show and to the dance like that. Man, but we fell short. My group fell short. But I'm super excited, man, for this 2025 group to make it. And it feels like we all made it. My former teammate is the head coach, Rob Krimmel. Shout out to Rob Krimmel. He was a freshman when I was a senior at St. Francis.
He's been there since, 96?
Man, he has been affiliated with that university since he went there.
Oh, he's going to have a statue.
If that guy don't get a
statue.
If that guy don't get a statue in the banner, I don't know who should, man. So let's get on that right now.
Yeah.
Man, but back then, we had some great teams, great teammates during that period of time, man, but always fell short. But I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy that not only my former teammate is the coach, but the coaching staff is filled with guys that have always been affiliated with our program. One of the assistants is my former coach, Tom McConnell's son. So it's really a family affair. All the guys on that coaching staff were former players. Devin Sweet, all those guys, man, on that team, man. So I'm excited. Heading up to Dayton tomorrow. They played
you going to the
I'm going, baby. I'm going, baby. Heading to Dayton tomorrow. And man, I can't wait to see my guys, man, see my former teammates who are all driving up for the game.
Nice, man. That's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be a fantastic reunion for us all, man. And it's just, I can't say enough. Now, to get to the matchup, we'll get to the matchup when we start talking about NCAA, man. But just excited, man. This is one of those things where you always gonna remember where you were when your team, your school made it to the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Particularly if you didn't go to one of the big boys, Big 10, Big East, and Big 12, any of the major universities, man. For guys who played at small universities, man, when we make it to the tournament, it's a big thing, man. Deal.
It's a big deal.
So shout out to the Red Flash. Shout out to the Running Frankies, baby.
That's what
Loretto, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We got March Madness coming up, right?
Yeah.
But we got March Sadness. UAD. Men and women. This month is March Sadness.
Oh man.
Coach Montgomery, he building it. I know he gonna do what he can to get some players up in there. His first year there at UAD, man. So he grind. I can see the hard work he put in, those players put in. The women's basketball coach, she a firecracker. She got some fire in her. I love her. She got those girls playing at a high level. She need to add 1 or 2 more players. And then we be March Madness. But this month is March Sadness. But shout out to UAD, man. Hey, let's get it together. We're going to have a good season next year. Both men and women.
They got a good group, man. Especially on the men's side. They got a good group, man. Over there in the Horizon League. And, it's not easy, man. It's not easy, to win your conference like that. I mean,
especially when the parity is the same. It's like it's so much parity, man.
So much parity. And essentially coaches are doing this with a brand new team every single year. Because of the transfer portal, because of the opportunities that NIL provides, kids are leaving these programs to go get money.
Yeah.
And one of the significant things, or one of the great things about what St. Francis has done is they have nobody is making any NIL money. 0 NIL dollars, man.
Wow.
And they were able to win the NCAA, the NEC championship and go to the big dance. Now, I don't know what's going to happen next year.
You think some of these guys leaving?
I don't know. I don't know. But you know what happens, man, when guys get on that stage, it happened at St. Peter's. Remember St. Peter's a few years ago?
Yeah.
All them guys, man, St. Peter's makes it to what? The Sweet 16. Man, all them guys were gone the next year.
Yep.
So, never know what happens, man. But I think they have an opportunity, man. St. Francis got opportunity to make a run, at least win the first game against Alabama State.
And all you want is an opportunity and a chance.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. They don't call it March Madness for nothing.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. We've already seen it.
Yep.
So let's jump into some NCAA talk, man. The brackets are out. The brackets are out, both men and women. I watched the selection show yesterday. Did y'all watch the selection show yesterday?
I watched the selection show.
I was on it.
Here's my only critique about the selection show. I thought teams would be way more excited to make it to the big dance than what I saw yesterday. Now, I know for some of the larger schools, the South Carolinas, particularly on the women's side, USC, particularly on the women's side, that, they're in it year in, year out. But for a young player making it to the NCAA tournament, and when you look back on it 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, those are going to be great memories. And if I can tell young players anything right now, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. Because when you look back at it, you're going to think to yourself, man, I should have had more fun when I was playing. I should have appreciated it a little bit more. I should have, showed some level of excitement. And I know we all on that grind and you're trying to make it to the next level. You want to be the very best player that you can. You're putting in all that work. But it's okay to show some joy.
Yeah.
And some gratitude to where you are and the accomplishment. So it is truly an accomplishment to be one of the 68 teams chosen, selected, able to win your conference and get an automatic bid to that tournament, man. It's still a big deal. It still means something. And for an athlete, these are the moments and times that we always look back at and say, I wish. And you don't want that. You want to be able to look back at it and say, man, I had some great times with my teammates when we were in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
But, to your point, it's hard for an athlete who's in the moment to look 10 years down the road and say, I wish I should have enjoyed it more, because you're an athlete, you in the moment. Your focus is, we got to win this game, and then of course 10 years pass and then you say, man, if I can go back, if I could do this, if I could do that, but at 21, 22, 23, according to, with your guys, they trying to get to the next round. They trying to get to the next round. Now, the guys who not going to play, they might be sitting on the end of the bench saying, yeah, I wish I could have played. They might be thinking about the present. But as far as, I've been in situations, even as a baseball player, man, when you playing in a tournament and you trying to get to the next round, you in the moment. You and now, of course, 25, 30 years have passed, but now you think back and say, damn, if he'd have threw this, if he'd have threw that, if I'd have did this, I'd have done that, things could have been different. But, as an athlete, both of us, all three of us been athletes. So when you're in that moment, you're in the moment.
So look, so you was talking to the selection show. So you're referring to when they flashed to the teams that got selected.
That's right.
And it's so the excitement.
That's right.
So I just don't want to get lost in it when I say this. So it is a lag. It's a delay.
I get that.
You get all that. Okay.
I get all that. I know that some teams were caught off guard when the camera hit. I get it. But even after they caught on, it was the golf clap.
Okay.
It was the golf clap.
Is that because who they were playing?
Or I don't know. I don't know.
Or is it, okay, we got work to do. We know we in. We here. Cameras here. Let's go.
Whatever it is, I don't know what it is. But I've noticed it more this year than I have in any other year.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the fact that, look, man, these kids is making hundreds of thousands, some of them millions of dollars. They're not excited about being on TV. They stars on social media. They stars on their campuses. They're stars in regions of this country. They're stars in
They stars at the bank.
At the bank.
At the bank, they stars.
They stars. So maybe there's it's a little bit of that. Like, hey, we lightweight made it already.
Yeah.
We're already there, right? So some of it is that. But You can't get these years back. And I know I'm speaking from a totally different perspective as a grown man and not a 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kid. And so they may not see that right now. But again, if I can tell them anything, enjoy the moments that you are in. Don't take any of this for granted. If I wasn't bone on bone and cartilage gone in these knees, maybe I'll still be out there. I might have a couple more eligibility still left, but I don't know. But just enjoy the moment, man. Just enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride, because it's never going to be like this again. Once you play college basketball once, it's over.
It's over.
It's all professional after that, whether you decide to go get a job 9 to 5 or whether you play professional basketball here in the States or overseas, it's all a business at that point. It's lightweight of business now, but this is an opportunity for you to still be an amateur in some respects and really be a kid.
Yeah, because when you get out into the real world, you got real bills and real responsibility. So, and I hate to be repetitive, but I tell my son all the time, enjoy it. And like they said, once it's over, it's over. Once you decide, when you wake up and say, I don't want to practice no more, or I don't want to do what it takes to be good or great at my job as a professional athlete, it's a wrap.
It's over.
It's over.
Man, well, we got a big tournament coming. It's a lot of parity as far as I can see. Yeah. And I think with the NIL and all this transfer portal stuff, it's starting to spread it out like peanut butter. But the big dogs are still the big dogs, clearly. So we're going to get into that with the brackets. I know we ready for that.
Well, let's get into the matchups. I mean, look, let's kind of start here. We got 2 teams from the state of Michigan in the NCAA tournament, Michigan and Michigan State, who, by all accounts, has some pretty good rivalry this season. Michigan State probably getting the best of Michigan for the most part. But look, they're 2 seed and 5 seed respectively. I think Michigan is a 5 seed, right?
Yeah.
5 seed, Michigan State's a 2 seed. In my opinion, since 2000, I feel like this is probably one of the better opportunities that Michigan State has to go deep into this tournament. I don't see anybody on that side of their bracket that scares me. People talk about Auburn, great team, quality team, but I think Michigan State poses a really unique matchup issue with Auburn. They're guard heavy, Michigan State. They're versatile.
And they have depth.
They got depth. They can play a fast-paced game. They can slow it down, knock down threes, really run their stuff. Not necessarily the threat inside, per se, to score, but they can get to the cup and draw some fouls against a much bigger, probably a more athletic Auburn team. So it's a unique matchup that I think, if I look at it down the line, Michigan State probably has the advantage. I think they get past their first-round opponent. Shouldn't be a problem. Now, on the Michigan side, I think they also pose a unique matchup problem for a lot of teams. With so much size, and their size being able to also be versatile.
The 2 7-footers.
The 2 7-footers, right. One of which, you're going to catch him 25 feet from the basket, dancing with it, getting to the cup, making plays for his teammates, posting you. So they're going to pose a nice matchup issue for a lot of teams. So I'm looking at this as, at some point, I expect Michigan and Michigan State to meet up again. And I would not be surprised if either Michigan or Michigan State gets to the final in their region. Now, whether or not they'll go to a Final Four, whether or not they'll go to a championship game, I don't know. But I like both teams coming out of this bracket. Either or, I think, can make it.
Now, Michigan State, Michigan playing, was that UC Davis? Who
Michigan? Cal Davis. Yeah,
Cal Davis.
UC Cal Davis.
Here's my thing with that. Cal Davis, they have probably one of the top rated turnover defenses in the country. They were ranked number 6 as far as defensive efficiency. And they're coming out there with nobody on their starting lineup is under 6'5". I get Michigan has the height with the 7-footers. They got a guy over at UC Davis that can shoot the hell out of the 3 ball. They like to run and gun. I think from the Michigan States, but let me say this. I do think Michigan's still going to win the game. Mm-hmm. I think, like you said, the versatility with the 7-footers, I think that's going to play a major role, especially when you're dealing with an undersized team. Michigan State, I see them breezing all the way to the Final Four, honestly. I see them beating Iowa State if that happens. I see them beating Michigan if that happens. If they had to play Florida, that's going to be the test right there in the Final Four. I think that Izzo really needs, and we talked about it before, to get that second championship. And this is the year. I think this is the year that he has that opportunity. So to your point, if they go out there and play, they can play the inside game, the outside game. They can run. This is the year for Izzo. If they can get past, which I think they will, but the test is going to be Florida, because in Florida boys, they play a pro-style game. They play a pro-style game.
And they got pros.
And they got pros over there.
And they got pros.
And that's the key.
They got a couple of them. They got a couple of them. And I think long and rangy, real experienced guards, tough, strong, can shoot the ball, get to the cup. Any great guard play is going to give Michigan State some problems. But again, they got a great guard rotation themselves. And a couple of guys that have actually been there and gone, been through the tournament. It's certainly an adjustment, man. Now, all those cameras and all that media and all the eyes on you and this win or go home type of atmosphere, which, is can make or break, athletes sometimes. And so I really like Michigan State this year. Again, I don't know if they have enough to win a national championship, but I think this is the next best opportunity that Tom Izzo has to get that second one and be named amongst the greats in coaching in NCAA college basketball.
So with that being said, SEC been the best conference all season.
It has been.
Auburn going into this tournament, losing their last 3 out of 4. So, so I can see what, why you say Auburn, I'm just not feeling Auburn. And I'm not as well. You losing 3 out of 4, although be it in a tough conference, and maybe you scaled back so you can get ready for this tournament. So it's the first one to 6 when it's all said and done. Yep. They're capable of doing it, but I don't see them doing it because something's just missing for me with Auburn. As far as Michigan State, you mentioned 2000, but I thought the 2019, 2020, which never finished.
Never happened.
Yeah, never finished, never happened.
Yeah.
So I thought that team was great enough. This is the next one. Yep. So I do get what you're saying with that. I do have Michigan State coming out. I don't know if they're going to meet with Michigan again. But even if they did, I do see Izzo putting up at least a Final Four banner. So, and we'll see what happens. If you get to the Final Four, anything happens after that. But I do see Michigan State putting up another Final Four banner coming out the South. So,
well, see, here's the deal, and I say this out of sincerity. Izzo has to win this tournament.
The whole thing?
No, just
the whole thing.
He has to win the whole thing. And why I say that is because
Final Four is not good enough.
No.
Okay.
And why I say that is because he's the most experienced coach in the tournament. He's been to everything from the Final Four to the Sweet 16 and eliminated the first round. He got 30 years of experience. He's been to a national championship. He's been to 8 Final Fours. So if it come down to Florida and Michigan State, the last 2 minutes of the game, I got to go with this guy. He has to pull that out. If it's a close, nip and tuck game. Coaching has to come into play sooner or later. Sometimes your players, now the players got to make plays, but it's got to be that coach to instill, hey, we got to win this thing. And this is how we going to do it.
Yep.
We're going to win this. Trust me. Listen to me, follow my instruction. We'll win this game. And that's where Izzo has to come in at, right there. Period.
So Izzo's got a crazy record once he wins the first game of the tournament. I can't remember what it is. It's some crazy percentage.
He's like 13 in the second. He don't lose in the second round.
Yeah, if he gets out that first game, he's gone.
With the quick turnaround
he's gone.
game.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Izzo, I think this term is more about Izzo than it is about the players.
It's Izzo more than about the players.
He getting up in age. There's nobody else. I'm looking at this list, man, of number one seeds. And I'm thinking about all the teams that I don't trust. I don't trust Auburn. I don't trust Florida.
Young coach in Florida.
I don't trust Houston. And I only trust Duke if Cooper Flagg is fully healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a nip and tuck game, I don't think that they got an experienced enough coach on that bench in Shire to really bring it home if it's close.
They have the best player on the floor, though.
They got the best player on the floor with the best motor in basketball right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that alone may not be enough.
Well, Shire, now don't get me wrong. When you replace a legend, it's a reason they selected him to replace a legend. He know the game. I mean, I'm not saying, of course, he's not on Izzo's level, but it's Duke. You know, Duke reputation is the Final Four is just the Final Four. We trying to win it all. It's no, everybody get happy. You get a banner when you get to the Final Four. Yeah, they got several of them up in East Lansing, but they only got one chip. Krzyzewski got 5-6 chips and banners for the Final Four. So I think that the bloodline might supersede the 30 years that Izzo brings to the table. That's the only probably program I would say that about. Other than that, Izzo has to bring Michigan State to the promised land.
Well, I like his chances in the final. They'll end up meeting if everything goes to plan. They'll end up meeting in a final game. It'll be
Duke.
Duke Michigan State in the final game. And again, if it's nip and tuck, I like Izzo.
I like Izzo. I like
Izzo, man. I like Izzo. I think this is personal for Izzo.
Yeah, it has to be.
I think he's been listening to all of the naysayers and hearing all the little talk. I think this is the one thing that's keeping him around.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he hasn't retired is winning one more.
Well,
we basically had Rico say it in our last show.
Mm-hmm.
Look, man, Izzo needs that other ring, man. This is his next best chance to get it done.
A good analogy when you talk about Izzo, and I'm just going to refer it to basketball. When you think about Dr. J, arguably could be one of the greatest players that ever played the game, from the Rucker to Massachusetts when he was a college player to the Philadelphia 76ers. But guess what? One chip. When they talk about the top 10, he not mentioned.
He don't mention it.
He not even mentioned in the top 15.
Mm-hmm.
And he changed the game. When we were growing up, Dr. J was the guy.
The reason why I'm a Sixer fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One chip. You know, so Izzo, if he wants to be in that same conversation with Self, Jay Wright, Krzyzewski, those guys who have two, Boeheim, or more, you got to win this, man. And he got to win it this year.
Yeah.
Well, his ears should perk up this year because he knows he has the talent. You know, it should perk up. So if he wasn't ready for this, he probably see his collection of talent and like, man, we got to do everything we can to get this. So it's starting to feel deep inside.
Well, it got to be personal.
Yeah, like you said, got to be personal.
It got to be personal.
Yeah.
Look, Tom, I know you listening to that. I know you watching this show. This is it, baby. This is it, baby. You got to win this one.
It's your best shot.
You got to win this one.
He got to win it. You're not going to shoot a jumper. You're not going to make a pass.
Put all the naysayers to bed.
Yeah, you got to do it.
The table is set for Michigan State to win this, man. You in a very winnable region. Let's get it done, man. Let's get it done.
Yep.
I agree.
Now, on to the most important matchup, St. Francis and Alabama State. What's the line on it? You know, I ain't a gambling guy. What's the line on the game?
St. Francis plus 2.5.
2.5.
Minus 2.5.
Minus 2.5.
Yeah.
You want
Alabama State is a favorite.
Okay, Alabama State the favorite. You want to win some money.
So St. Francis plus 2.5.
St. Francis plus 2.5.
Put your money on the red flash.
Swag, baby. Swag, Southern.
Put your money on the red flash.
Swag.
Points. There's absolutely no way Alabama State wins this game in Dayton, Ohio on tomorrow.
Don't believe that.
St. Francis is going.
I got to represent the swag now.
We'll be playing Auburn, you know, and hey, let the chips fall where they may. But I got my money on the Flash and Coach Krimmer to pull it home tomorrow against Dayton. And be ready for Auburn on Thursday.
So look,
16 versus 16.
16 versus 16. That's what you got. But listen, so I had a question from one of my listeners. Terrell asked you, he's in Arizona, big Detroit fan, but we used to have our discussion back in the day. So the question that he posed to me way back then, and we went back and forth, if the Fab Five ever went, if they just took their talents instead of coming to Michigan, went to Grambling, would they still be the excitement that we accustomed to now? You know, they changed the game of college basketball as far as I thought. You know, bringing they swag and everything. But if they would have took that to a SWAC team, do y'all think they would be where they are today in our history books?
I say no. And I say that for the simple fact, would they have dominated the SWAC? Yes. But when they would have come to the NCAA tournament playing, because you only good as who you play every Tuesday and Thursday or Thursday and Saturday. So their level of playing would have been against I'm not gonna call it mediocre competition, but it's a difference when you come from. That's why it's only been 2 times a 16 has beat a 1 seed, and going into a SWAC tournament or going to the NCAA tournament, they would have been a 15
the
or a
SWAC
16
would have been
seed.
definitely been 15.
So you put them up against a Duke. I don't care how many. What kind of, they probably could have hung in there and they might have won the game. Maybe. It's a slim chance. But I don't see the rah-rah that they would have brought to the SWAC that they did to the NCAA tournament and the Big Ten in that era. Because that competition back then, and as we know, late 80s, early 90s, those boys was balling, man.
Yeah.
And, so to answer your question, no, I don't think that the impact would have been the same.
I don't know. I don't think the impact would have been the same because I don't think that they would have had their eyes on them. I think they needed that big Block M or that big school, Big Ten school to really put the sort of eyes on them back then. Remember, we didn't have social media.
Right.
So it's not as if they could have done it themselves.
Right,
they really needed media to come to Ann Arbor and to really put that on them.
See the long shorts, the black socks, the bald heads. That's right.
But let's not forget that these were all Americans. These were McDonald's all Americans. 3 of them were Jimmy, Jalen, and Chris, and Jawan. 4 of them. I'm sorry.
4. Yeah.
So wherever they would have gone, I think they would have been successful. I think at the core of who they could have been in a HBCU is a Texas Southern team. Remember the Texas Southern team?
Yeah.
They would have been a Texas Southern team. A great team that people forgot about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this. They wouldn't have been under NCAA investigation had they went to a HBCU. Because nobody would have told.
Nobody would have told nothing.
Ain't no snitching in HBCU. Nobody would have told. I think they escaped that sort of attention. But I don't think that they would have had, to your point, faced the level of competition to get them ready to make a good run, a long run in the NCAA tournament, or they would have had they wouldn't have had the eyes on them that they had to really become this iconic group.
I wish they would have went to UD.
Now let me say,
that would have been a little different.
That'd have been a little different.
Now that would have been a little different.
That'd have been a lot different.
UD was UD before.
Right.
Yeah.
Terry Tyler and
John
Durod, John Long, Dick Vitale,
Dave DeBuscher.
So UD was UD. So now that would have been probably a different kind of feel and a different story. You may have had more eyes then.
Yeah.
But going to a HBCU where none of them really had a tie to, I don't know that they would have been the same team.
Now let me say this, because I was at Southern University from 87 to 1991. And when I got there in 87, and to your point, when we're talking about, you got to have pros in the NCAA tournament to win it all. You got to have at least one or two. Yeah. One for sure.
Mm-hmm. Y'all had some.
We had pros, man.
At least
Bobby Fields.
Bobby Fields and Avery Johnson.
And Avery Johnson.
So, and we had a coach in Ben Joe who had been through the ringer as far as Jim Crow. He knew how to navigate, quote unquote, the racism point of view when it came to playing Caucasian teams. Mm-hmm. He had a system where we were putting up shots every 4 or 5 seconds. We were running and gunning. We were best team in shape in the nation. Avery Johnson led the nation in assists 2 years in a row. We averaged over 100 points a game. So we were running and gunning, shooting the 3-ball back in the day. Mm-hmm. So we had Bobby Fields, rest in peace. We had Avery Johnson. We had another guy we call, can't remember his first name, but we call him Sky Walker. So those guys, and he should have been a pro. So if you got the right talent, and I might have to digress a little bit on what I said as far as what you said with the 5-5, you can make a run. I mean, we won a couple of games in the NCAA tournament as a 15 seed with those guys.
Yeah, but I think we're talking about two things, right? We're talking about one, how good would they have been on the floor?
That's true.
But then also the impact that they had on the culture.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I don't know that they're cultural icons.
If they had
Nah. I don't know that they're that.
Right.
I don't know that they're that there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were cultural icons because
they was on the big stage.
They were on TV.
And big stage.
They were at Michigan.
Yeah.
And that is
freshman.
That big block M is a global symbol.
Yeah.
You got Michigan alumni all over the globe, man. So it's a different conversation, I think, when you talk about, the Michigan umbrella versus an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
Will they have had the success on the floor? Maybe. Mm-hmm. They could have been Texas Southern, but would they been that cultural iconic group?
I don't see that.
I don't see it.
No, me neither.
I don't see it. Not there.
No.
Well, so I don't want to get it lost. I mean, you mentioned Bobby Fields, Avery Johnson. Tennessee State, we had Anthony Mason. I just want to make sure that gets out there.
Carlos Rogers.
Yeah,
with Detroit.
But when I was there, it was Mason.
Yeah.
So Carlos came after I was leaving. So, So shout out to rest in peace to Mason. But shout out to that.
And here's another piece. I kind of want to get back to this NCAA tournament. It will introduce the world to great players. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of us knew who Dwayne Wade was before he made that run at Marquette.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know if any of us knew who Popeye Jones was until Murray State made their run in the tournament.
You got one more? You got one more. Come on.
Who? Go ahead.
Say it.
Go ahead.
Steph Curry.
Well, again,
Davidson, I didn't know who he was.
I don't think anybody knew
Didn't nobody know.
Until he made that
Little
run
small
at
private
Davidson.
school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So more of a reason to be excited about the opportunity that these kids have to really make a name for themselves. Now I know they think, hey, I got 1 million followers on social media. I'm lit. I got an NIL deal. I'm good. I'm Gucci, as the kids say. But there's something about performing on the biggest stage in college basketball that introduces you to the world. And this is the opportunity that these kids have right now. And I just, you don't want that to be lost on them as athletes.
I agree. I agree with that.
Because all those guys we just named, none of us knew who they were until they showed up
on national
TV. On a national stage.
That's true.
Well, we're going to find out Tuesday night if St. Francis got one of them guys.
We got them. We got them guys.
Y'all got one guy 14 points a game. Everybody else is. But hey, man. That's what this is.
If he turned that 14 into 28, he on the
he might get invited to camp.
Pick your poison. Pick your poison. Pick your poison. Anybody can get it.
Yeah, that's true.
Anybody can get it with this group.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So let's talk a little NBA. I know you had some stuff you wanted to touch on with our Detroit Pistons.
Well, look, man, JB got the fire behind him. He's trying to gain respect in this league, man. I love it. I just love it for the city. But the NBA, you got to come better. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Cade throughout his career hadn't had no technicals.
Yep.
This man got 3 in 2 days, 3 days. No, unbelievable. They got to do better than that. Keep him on the floor. And a couple of the texts was just minor. Just hey, let me ask you a question. And all right, don't talk to me. JB said it best. They demand and respect. They demand and respect. They deserve it. These guys don't sit out for low management. They're playing basketball, man. They what the NBA should want to see. Even Shaq, you should want to see it, Shaq. Chauncey Billups ain't here. He's in Portland. Y'all saw what he did in that little interview where he was he said, I want to give Chauncey credit. Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah, wrong name.
Yeah, man, get out of here, Shaq. Watch the Pistons, man. They're playing. They're excited,
Well, not wrong name, wrong team.
Wrong team. Wrong team.
Hey, cover your ears.
Okay.
Neck yourself, Shaq. Neck yourself, man. For not doing your homework. Neck yourself, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to touch on, man. Pistons playing still good ball. Competitive ball against Oklahoma City. I think they got them coming up again too. They fun to watch, man. Yeah. Everybody keep your eyes on them. I'll get to a NBA quick question at the end, but man, it's been fun to watch, man. And JB putting some fire behind them. And we haven't seen that in a couple of years.
Let me play devil's advocate. To your point about Cade Cunningham. Stars don't get calls. Superstars get the calls. He's not a superstar. He's just a star. So until he becomes a superstar, he won't get the benefit of the doubt. Now, I get it. All-star, averaging 25, 7 and 8, whatever he averaging. He a star. He made his first year. This year he made the all-star team. And hopefully he grows from that. But it's a superstar league. It's not a star league. Would that happen to Durant? No. Curry? No. Harden? No. SGA? No. The Joker? No. LeBron? Definitely no. So he's getting there, but superstars get the calls, not stars.
It just means that the Pistons haven't arrived yet.
Bam.
Yeah.
They just haven't arrived yet. Okay. But they on the cusp.
That's what I should have said. I should have let you go first.
And then
bam.
But they're on the cusp.
They are.
Because they got a coach that's fighting for them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They got a league that's paying attention. And they got a star that believes he should be a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the cusp. What the Pistons are going to need to do is win a playoff series this year. They win a playoff series, or if the season ended today, they'd be playing the Knicks in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
You take the Knicks to 7 games.
Yeah, which is doable.
Win it or take the Knicks to 7 games.
Which is doable.
And you got a better shot at getting that respect that your coach is fighting for y'all to get next year.
And I tell you another thing that if they do that, the fire sale that's going to happen in Phoenix, Booker, KD, or whoever else, what's my other man name that came from Washington?
Bradley Beal.
He all right. But I think Booker ready to go.
Well,
you put Booker next to Cade.
I think he is ready.
Because you're not going, definitely not, if Jaden want to come back, maybe, but you can get Booker. That's your superstar right there. It's already been proven. You need a Batman and a Robin.
Ivy might be the odd man out when it's all said and done.
Because they already proven right now they don't need Ivy.
Yeah.
But you need a Batman and you need a Robin. So if Booker come here next year, he gonna be Batman.
Well,
K to be Robin on some nights.
Let me expand on your point of needing a Batman and Robin. You need stars that fit together. You need superstars that fit together. I don't know. There's been things said about Booker as a locker room guy that I don't know have been confirmed. How he gets on his guys. He got a lot of little Chris Paul in him, and that seems to turn guys off. What I see in this Pistons team is a cohesive unit of players who like playing together. And so whoever they decide to bring in has to fit that mold. It's the same stuff we say about the Lions.
How many
You got to have the right guys in there. I'm not saying Booker ain't the right guy.
I get what you're saying.
I'm saying it don't necessarily take a superstar. Mm-hmm. It takes the right person in a role to get the team to where they need to go. And I like that young talent. I like the young talent. They built from the ground up. People don't necessarily come here like that. We get the retreads, or we get guys like a Rasheed, Chauncey, Rip, guys who coming from other places who, may not have panned out in them other places, and now they coming to us. Those are the guys that we typically get. But it's got to be the right guys, especially if you're going to mortgage some of your young talent, which they're going to have to do to get a guy like that.
They're going to have to.
Well, with Booker, in his defense, I would say the guy he's been in the league 6-7 years. He had 6-7 head coaches. He's only had one coach for 2 years in a row. When we got Sheed, we were on the verge of winning. That put us over the top. We need that trade from Atlanta. He was in Atlanta for one game. When we got Sheed, that's all we needed right there. It was that big power forward that could shoot the three and go inside, and play some inside defense and score from the inside. And not maybe Devin Booker, but I do think that we need to add another star, whether it's a superstar or a star, to this roster next year. Particularly if we take New York or whoever we play the 7 games to put us over the top. I get the homegrown. I get what you're saying. Yeah. All these guys, shout out to the previous GM. Got to give him some credit. Not this guy we have here now, the Weaver.
Yeah, Weaver.
Yeah, these Weaver guys.
Yep, but Troy Weaver did a heck of a job. Trajan Langdon,
came in and just keep it going.
But I think we're 2 pieces away. We just splitting hairs here.
Right.
I think we pretty much saying
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But I think we 2 pieces away. I'm not convinced that another guard is it. I really think we need a scoring big, even if it's a big who shoots the 3. Mm-hmm. I just think we need another scoring threat out there. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen in the playoffs and why I think it's going to be a challenge playing the Knicks is they're going to key in on Cade and make everybody else beat them. And throw 2 at them. All pick and rolls, they're just going to trap the pick and rolls, make them get a ball up. Now, they got some guys out there that can knock down some perimeter shots, but they don't really have a post threat, a threat with some size, either to shoot it, drive it, or get in that dunker spot and make something happen on a consistent basis.
Which would be the guy off the pick and roll.
Right. That would be somebody like if Durant can shoot 18 feet, 20 feet, and knock down 50% of them, he'd be perfect. If Durant can shoot and knock down 38% from the 3, 35% from the 3, or even be a threat, he'd be the guy. Right now, he's not ready to do that. He's a dunker spot guy and a dunker spot guy only. Right now in this career.
Yeah.
But they got to you need another threat out there that can.
And you don't want to, like you say, even if you brought Beasley off the bench to the starting lineup, you want that, you want your guy to come, play the same role you've been playing.
Look, lock up Beasley. I think we got him for another year, right? Yeah, lock him up. Mm-hmm. Tim Hardaway, maybe, I don't know. But lock Beasley up. But I think I think they're 2 pieces away.
Yeah. Okay.
Either you can get a guy like that in the draft, maybe, or you get a guy like that in free agency.
Yeah.
I just don't like the idea of mortgaging the young talent for a guy like Booker when, he's going to come in. He's a closer. But we got a closer kind of in Cade.
Yeah, but like you just said,
they're going to lock once they start.
You stop the pick and roll and you got to you got to have somebody out there.
But here's a problem I have with me. Ain't that where he at now? Like, wasn't he like that in Phoenix?
But I think he got a better, and you said it yourself, I think you got some hungry guys. You got a coach that want to be here. He'll fit right there at that 2-guard spot. Cade has bought into being the official playmaker. So who's the second scorer in that offense?
Drury? But he ain't the second. He ain't the Rasheed piece to take us over.
No,
he's
not.
I think we can all agree
now.
I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah, he's not
the Rasheed
he's not
piece
that.
to take us over the top. Could he be a nice added piece?
He'd be nice to have.
Sure.
He'd be nice to have.
But it's got to fit. And that's the only point that I'm making. It's got to fit. Whoever it is, they've got to fit that culture that's starting to be created in the Pistons organization.
One more thing before you get to I know you got a couple of questions. It's Boston, Cleveland, Eastern Conference Final. That's what you're saying?
I don't know
Denver
why.
Lakers.
I don't know why not.
Oklahoma Lakers, Western Conference Final. Now, to your point with Doncic and LeBron, they play perfect together.
Yeah, I don't trust them to be healthy though.
Okay.
That's my only.
But Cleveland, Boston, Eastern Conference Final.
It's gonna be hard not to be. I mean, it's gonna be hard. I don't know any. I just don't. I think it's hands down.
I just wanted you to take
the only thing that the only other piece that I think could be a wild card is if this guy in New York decide to sit his players. I mean, give him a break. Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy, man, he play his guys, man.
That's 40 minutes, baby.
Thibodeau playing.
Man, Tim's playing these guys 40 minutes, man. 41. They lead the league, man, in minutes for their starters.
Mm-hmm.
These guys need a break. If that don't happen, I don't know. If that doesn't happen,
Detroit might catch
and the Pistons take them to deep to 7 games.
Yeah.
Man, they
got a shot. They got a shot at it.
In shape enough to make it to an Eastern Conference Final.
No, I said Boston, Cleveland.
I know.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is the only caveat to Boston and Cleveland would be if the Knicks were able to sneak in there.
So Milwaukee,
and take somebody off. Milwaukee, I don't trust them.
I don't see that.
Yeah.
I think that bench isn't deep enough. I think you're gonna get everything you can from Giannis. I think Dame Lillard's gonna play his part. I don't see nobody else on that team that's gonna be that third guy that can really get them to an Eastern Conference Final.
SGA can carry Oklahoma.
He doesn't have to.
No, they got other pieces.
He doesn't have to. They got some young, hungry dogs over there.
Then get past Denver.
They eat their beans out the can.
With a spoon.
I like that.
No,
I like that.
With their hand. They eat their beans out the can. There's some dogs
There's
over
some
there.
dogs over there.
Some dogs over there.
Okay. All right.
All right, man.
With a W.
Yeah. Okay.
So look, man, before we close it out, man, let's have a little quick fun. Another viewer question. You know, we can't always use all viewers' questions. Go back to last week. But this is from the same guy, Johnny Christopher. Shout out to you. We couldn't use your question last week. But side out of bounds, you're down 2. I got 5 guys who you gonna give it to. Got one choice. I got Steph. You're down 2. Mm-hmm. Side out of bounds, at the half court. Steph, Kobe, MJ, Bird, Reggie Miller. You can make a case for all of them. So you can tell me.
No, not me. I only make a case for 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
Because 3 of them, you got to put the ball on the floor. They catch it and shoot it.
Okay.
MJ might have to put it on the floor.
Mm-hmm. You got 4 seconds. I'm sorry. I don't know if I said that. 4 seconds. 4 seconds on the clock. You down 2, side out of bounds. And I didn't mention LeBron because he probably inbound and he gonna make the right play. so no diss to LeBron because I didn't add him into that. But
4 seconds.
4 seconds.
And who I got to choose from?
Reggie Miller, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, MJ, Steph Curry.
And I got 4 seconds.
Yeah, 4 seconds.
To me, it comes down to MJ and Curry. Because I've seen MJ with 4 seconds put the ball in for a dribble, pull up, bam. Mm-hmm. And same thing with Curry. Okay. Curry don't even need 4 seconds to launch that boy. But I got to go with the greatest of all time. I got to go with MJ.
So while you ponder, I can tell you mine. So my thing is, first of all, you got to get the ball in and get it to a guy. So I'd like my Kobe option because he's going to do everything he can to know I'm taking this shot. So I like that. He also has some range. So even if he's double teamed, covered, one dribble, you think he's going to take 2 or 3 because he has 4 seconds. One dribble, he pulling. I like Curry because no matter where you give him the ball, it's a high percentage shot, no matter where you give it to him. So I think he can get open. So there's them 2. I'm not doing Larry Bird, only because although I think once he gets it, it's money. But for him to get to the ball and get it, I got a problem with that. Reggie Miller, I mean, we've seen him hit big shots, still kind of sporadic for me. And then MJ, although I think he's going to get to the ball, I've seen him take some tough shots. They ain't always money. They haven't always been money with MJ, but we've seen him hit big shots.
Right.
But we've also seen him against the Pistons miss some game winners, you know. And like you say, if you don't shoot it, you know, you can't miss it. But
right.
So my two right now is Curry and Kobe. If I got to just narrow it down to the one, I can say Curry ranges from where
unlimited,
you know. So even if he got to catch it in the backcourt, 2 dribbles, and at half, I'm still confident in the shot for whatever reason.
I get it.
So I'm down 2, right?
You down 2.
4 seconds.
4 seconds.
All right. So I'm trying to win. I don't want to go for 2.
Okay.
So I want somebody that's
you're eliminating MJ off the bat.
Well, not necessarily. So let me go down the list. With 4 seconds to go, you're going to have to put the ball on the floor. Mm-hmm. So I need somebody that can shoot the 3. But somebody that's going to be okay with putting the ball on the floor. So that eliminates Reggie Miller.
And Bird.
Well, no. I think Bird needs more than 4 seconds.
Yeah, but he does.
I'm eliminating Bird.
Okay.
Mike's going to catch it, but Mike might go for 2. He's not as prolific a 3-point shooter as those other 2 guys are. Okay, so that eliminates Mike. So I'm down to Kobe and I'm down to Steph.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have some strength and some size to get a shot over somebody. If you buy him, take some contact, shoot over the top, you're going to have to take a dribble. You might have to spin. You got to have great footwork. I'm going to take the guy with the size over the smaller guy who's probably the greatest shooter of all time.
But you saying...
So that gives me Kobe Bean Bryant.
Are you saying they have to go for the... You didn't say if they had to go for the win. You just said take the shot.
Yeah. It was an open-ended question. You chose what you chose.
Well, I chose Mike.
I chose what I chose.
That is true.
Based on what I chose?
Yeah.
That means...
Would you have changed your answer?
No. Because Mike can hit the 2 or the 3. He's proven he can hit the 3.
The only reason why I didn't pick Mike is because I'm thinking in this era. And Kobe would have been, his game would have been closer to the way the game is played today than Mike's game was.
Absolutely.
Mike, to me, and we've seen him do it.
Yeah.
Mike would have went for 2. Maybe he would have got fouled and got to the free throw line.
And then took his chance going into overtime.
Took his chance going to overtime and just punishing people going to the cup.
Yeah.
Kobe would have went for the 3. So would Steph.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But also everybody would have expected Steph Curry to shoot the 3.
Right.
So 2 guys would have been thrown at him. I'm gonna go for the guy with more size and strength to get around it, by it, or over guys. And so that's why I would have gone with Kobe.
That's a good analogy.
And that's why St. Francis is gonna win against Alabama State.
Well, look, Well, so with the NBA question, when y'all see this, man, y'all go in there, leave your comments, tell us who y'all think. Love to hear it, man. We want to interact with y'all, and we want to hear what y'all decide on that too. So,
and before we sign off, man, shout out to my frat brother Mike Stewart out there in Orlando, California. Man, he called me a couple of weeks ago, and I thought he was just calling just to holler at me, man. When he called me, he told me, "Say, hey, man, I love what y'all doing in Detroit." He said, I'm a subscriber. I get all y'all shows, man. And I was shocked because I hadn't heard from Mike in a while.
Yeah.
And he called me, man. That kind of made my day, man, just to let me know a guy in Florida is tuning in.
Absolutely.
To the Brown Couch Bruhz, man. So shout out to Mike Stu, Kai Gamma 99. Can't wait to see you this summer, man, for the boat ride and all that, cruise with the Qs and stuff like that.
We worldwide.
Hey, we getting there. We trying to get there.
Another episode of Brown Couch Bruhz. Hey. Like, share, subscribe.
Definitely subscribe.
And we out of here.
No doubt.